It's Nerd 30, so come one, come all to the nerdiest show of them all. The Omega level nerds are ready to talk nerdy to you. It is indeed Nerd 30, and let's get right in to a much talked about chapter of the Dragonball Z Super Manga, and I'm taking a page out of Jay's book. You know, he likes to hear me talk about the X-Men. You know, doesn't want to read per se, but enjoys the narration by yours truly. So I've taken a similar approach to the Dragon Ball Z manga. We have Halo drama and Volsker.
Dragon Ball Super Manga, bro.
That's right. By the way, fun recording the abridged reaction with you this week.
Absolutely amazing.
But yes. So ID Square him here. We also got J100 as well, and again Volsker and Halo drama. So a lot of buzz going around the internet about the latest chapter of the Dragon Ball Super Manga. Of course, the last issue, speculation about this new mode that may make Vegeta more powerful than Goku. Of course, he is fighting an enemy named Granola, taking revenge for the Saiyans, messing up their race a long, long time ago. So, from what I understand, this fight goes down in chapter 75 here, Halo drama. So how does that go? Tell us about this new form. Catch us up here.
Well, the form officially got a name. I guess it's called Ultra Ego.
Very fitting.
Weird name, but let's see where it goes.
Yeah.
You know. Oh my God, my phone went to black. I had all my notes up. Stop playing. Only prop. Okay, well, no, I'll save that. Yeah, Vegeta goes in this form and whatnot, and gets to smashing Granola, smashing him thoroughly. The only problem I had, so I can only guess and speculate, it's never actually, like, we know what Ultra Instinct does.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's more of a defense thing.
Right.
But it's never actually explained what Ultra Ego does. At least it's not explained yet. I can only go on speculation from, reading the chapter a couple times and seeing how they're fighting. I'm almost thinking to myself, like, Ultra Instinct makes Goku and Whis, automatically dodge just on instinct.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering, I should say, if Ultra Ego is like the attack side of it. Like it automatically just attacks just on instinct.
I kind of got from it that it was almost like, basically, like you were saying, the opposite, because Beerus is like, the true power of destruction is just destroying.
Right.
So I got from it that it's a form that's nothing but just power, raw power.
Right.
And as he was hitting shit, it was exploding, like literally almost the pure strength of Beerus.
Right. And what made me think or wonder if it's just like a automatic, like I said, Ultra Instinct automatically dodges. I'm wondering if this Ultra Ego automatically attacks, because I don't know what part of did you get through 75?
Yeah, because I was where it was basically saying, like, as Vegeta took damage, his attacks went higher. So
right.
He was letting himself get hit.
Right.
Like, in the face, blood coming down, and then he would just turn around and just fucking knock Granola through the ground. Like,
and that's what made me think, I wonder if it's an automatic attack thing, because you notice every time Granola even gained footing, Vegeta was already behind him and knocked the shit out of his ass. So that's my thought on that. Again, we'll see. And yeah, like you said, Vegeta kept absorbing his hits, kept absorbing his shots.
I don't think we're streaming anymore.
Nope, just gonna record and put the video up.
All right. Then they're having a general conversation. Vegeta's being Vegeta. He says, don't compare my technique to Ultra Instinct. Ultra Instinct is pathetic compared to my technique. Oh. And I'm like, That's the exact same reaction I said when I read it. I was like, here we go. Fucking Vegeta talking all that bullshit. Let's see. And as everything is going on, Granola proclaims that he'll never let himself get beat by one of Frieza's lackeys. And again, Vegeta lets him know again, like, dude, we don't fuck with that dude.
Right.
Like, you're still not listening. We don't fuck with that dude. As a matter of fact, he let Granola know. He was like, Frieza destroyed our shit too.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, he lets him know, like, Frieza destroyed our shit too, but Granola, just like we talked about the last time, we talked about the last chapter, Granola being Granola, he's still not trying to hear that shit. He still just wants revenge. And coming to find out that, Frieza destroyed their planet as well. Oh yeah, I wrote this in here for notes. Like, Granola's still not trying to hear that shit, so Vegeta just keeps kicking his ass. He's like, you don't want to listen. Fuck it. Maybe I got to beat some truth into you.
Yeah.
Like, like an '80s mother. Oh, and remember I said he had that eye patch with the communicator thing on, talking to the dude Oatmeal, and Oatmeal's basically he's hearing everything that's going on, and Oatmeal is trying to talk some sense into Granola, saying like, yo, their world was also destroyed by Freezer, and they weren't even aware that your world even existed. Like they're possibly telling the truth, like they had nothing to do with this.
Mm-hmm.
But again,
he's just too hyped.
He is. Granola's still not trying to hear that shit. He rips the thing off, throws it down on the ground. Not trying to hear that shit. Says, he flat out says, he was like, now that I'm the strongest, thanks to his wish, I don't really need your help anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Under the piece that he threw off, I had forgot about this before. Under the piece he threw off, it shows that he has a red eye.
It's a cerulean feature.
Right. I'm thinking, if I remember correctly, I want to say it helps with his sniping skills. Yeah. Let's see.
And that had been something Vegeta didn't know about before, that he has. So you're talking about that thing he had on his face. He has a red eye under it.
Yeah, and I remember it being revealed before, but this was before. This was some Granola side story type shit that happened some chapters ago, and right. So yeah, Vegeta and Goku wouldn't have known about that. But now Granola starts feeling himself. He starts talking shit back. Like, basically he says, Granola says to Vegeta, he said, you said that I'm not used to my power. Remember, I talked about that before.
Right.
Vegeta let him know. He's like, I can tell you just acquired your power because you don't know what you're doing.
Right.
And yeah, Granola said to him, like, oh, you say I'm not used to my power. Vegeta says, yeah, I did say that. You don't have enough battle experience to beat me, is basically what Vegeta is saying. And Granola says, then I'll have to make up for that lack of experience against you. You're not the only one who keeps getting stronger as he fights. And then Granola starts powering up. And even Vegeta shows this look like, what the fuck is going on? Like, the typical Vegeta shit.
Yeah.
Like, are you shitting me? I finally do some shit. I finally get a new form, and this is how you do me, Tori. This is how you do me, Tori.
Yeah.
Like, you shaved my eyebrows, for God's sakes. Come on.
Man,
it's Ultra Super Saiyan all over again.
Right, you wouldn't give me Super Saiyan 3, but you gave me the Super Saiyan 3 face for this one.
Yeah. So he doesn't have like the eyebrows and stuff, big forehead.
Nope.
Oh yeah, no, yeah,
big curvature forehead. His hair's still black, spiked like fucking Sonic, and no eyebrows.
Sonic,
right?
Okay.
Granola starts using some kind of, is it the one that you move stuff with your mind? That's telekinesis, right?
Yeah.
He starts using this telekinesis, and he starts throwing the broken buildings and rubble at Vegeta, and whatnot, and they're just
shit.
right. So Stanley talking.
What's left of your town?
Right. But and you know, he's stopping the shit with his hand, he's blocking the shit off, blah blah blah. But come to find out, all this stuff that he's throwing at him is almost like the paper bombs in Naruto.
Oh.
Everyone he touches or everyone that gets near him starts exploding with energy and shit.
Huh.
And you can see on Vegeta's face that he's starting to feel that shit. Like I said, we're not 100% sure exactly what Alter Ego does because it was still never explained. I'm only going on the fight and what I think it might be.
They haven't had a lot of exposition on it.
Right. And if absorbing damage is part of it, I think he started trying to absorb more than he could handle.
Yep.
Every time, he blocked. Smoke cleared. Vegeta was battle damage after the building started exploding and whatnot. A side note: it may mean something later, but apparently the oatmeal dude who was on the communicator or whatever, the ship that Granola landed on, apparently he can control that from the communicator somehow. So okay. I don't know, some outer space.
Yeah. Outer space tech mumbo jumbo.
Right. And he uses the ship and goes to pick up the communicator, puts the communicator back on the ship, and flies off. No clue where he's going, never explained. So like I said, it might come up later why that may or may not be important.
Sure.
Then you go back to the fight, and now Granola and Vegeta are fighting for real. And now Granola's starting to be on par with Vegeta, like they're boxing. And Vegeta still talking shit. Like, motherfucker, oh, you thought you was going to bring the fight to me? I'm about that life. Like, we can get it.
Right.
Whatnot. Vegeta gets him one good time, knocks Granola down to the ground. Then he realizes that somehow there's a bunch of blood pouring out of his chest. Doesn't show where or how he was hit or damaged, but now there's a bunch of blood pouring out of a hole on his chest. He put his hand on it, was like, what the fuck? But Vegeta being Vegeta, this is nothing. He keeps talking shit. Like you can't get past the point. Yeah, you can't get past the point that Vegeta just keeps talking shit, saying basically like, oh, this is nothing. Keep coming. Blah blah blah.
So ultra ego. So he talks crap no matter how bad he's beat up.
Yeah, right. Not much different than the Vegeta we already knew.
Right. Yeah. I don't know how much of. I don't know. I think Goku got the better deal here.
Right. But as Vegeta is saying that shit, oh, this is nothing. Keep coming. I fucking dare you. Blah blah blah. A blast goes past Vegeta's face. He barely dodged it. And he again had that look on his face like, what the fuck? I didn't even see that shit coming. Like, blah blah blah. And then Granola starts talking shit now. Like, oh, you can dodge, or are you reaching your limit? Vegeta gives the same old "never underestimate a Saiyan" speech. That we've heard for 30 years now.
Right.
Then they cut to Goku, who is now conscious and, catching his breath. He goes on to state, he can tell that Granola's power has grown. And he can also tell that whatever power-up Vegeta had initially, it's starting to decline. Goku, now this didn't make any sense to me. Goku's using some kind of key technique that's supposed to heal him, which to me doesn't make any sense. You're using...
Wait, so he's doing like the Naruto, I will heal you with my key,
but to
myself.
Himself. Then that doesn't make any sense to me. You're using your key to heal your...
Yeah, because with Dragon Ball Universe, the key is heavily tied to your condition in general.
Right.
So how are you going to use your key? I don't get me wrong. There's items out there in Dungeons and Dragons and video games and shit where you wear it and you do tick up like 1 or 5 hit points per second or whatever, but that's
So
not what we're
basically-
talking about.
Right.
No,
So
he also has like a bullet wound in his heart too right now while he's doing this. They
Right.
get a fucking beam blasted through his chest.
So basically what you're saying is instead of trying to use your ki to heal your ki, you'd be better off walking in this forest and trying to find an apple or a steak.
Right.
See if you can find a chest to open that you
Right.
don't need a master key for.
Or punch a hole in the wall and get some chicken that you find in there
Right.
in Castlevania.
Shit like that.
It's questionable to eat it, but hey.
Gets the job done. Let's see. And even though Vegeta also knows that Granola's power has grown, he keeps purposely taking his ki blast head on. Then he fires a huge one back at Granola that hits him head on, knocks Granola back and whatnot. Then he proceeds to like hold his head, talking about his visions getting blurry. There's still blood pouring out of his body. Yeah, like Vosker said, his face is all blooded up. He's fucked up. And then he has the nerve to say, "Oh shit, I think I've taken too much damage." Yeah, no shit. No shit.
Oh.
I think you know what? And I'm thinking it's one of those things where, because even at the point when he transformed, he even said Granola drew that power out of him.
Mm-hmm.
But look how many times that Goku and Vegeta they roasted Frieza. Look how many times they roasted people who jump into a fight with new power and they're like, yeah, but you didn't practice that.
Yeah.
So you don't know what for me to say, Granola, you don't know what you're doing with your power.
And then he gets the ultra ego and then he overdoes it.
Right. And it's kind of like, technically, you didn't really know what to do with your power either, Vegeta, because this is your first time using it.
Right.
Against an actual opponent. Let's see.
Wait, there's more.
Right. Like I said, he blasted Granola down. When the smoke clears, Granola, like almost like if any of you have ever watched Yu Yu Hakusho, where he used his fingers or fist to do the normal spirit gun or shotgun, machine gun, shit like that. Granola uses the same kind of things where he uses his hands to create guns and like bows and shit like that with energy. And then when the smoke cleared, Granola had like a bow energy attack charging, about to shoot it at Vegeta. Vegeta notices this, makes this big, huge fucking ki blast, which I personally thought it was a Hakai blast. Come to find out it is not. It's just a huge ki blast. He's and while he throws it at Granola, he's talking shit still, might I add. Again, he's on the planet he doesn't give a fuck about. So he's like, you know what, fuck this. This is enough power to destroy your whole shit, you fucking little one-eyed bitch. And blah, blah, blah. And he throws it at him. And while it's going towards him, Granola's other eye turns red.
Oh, man.
And then it shows Granola charging the attack with both hands.
Huh.
And he shoots that attack at Vegeta's ball. They struggle for a bit,
Sure.
typical ki blast type shit. Then, it explodes. A massive explosion. But when the smoke cleared, Vegeta was down. Granola was not. Yeah, Granola was still standing on his feet. Excuse me. And then Granola uses his own shit against him. Now I think it's starting to reverse where Granola's talking shit, getting into Vegeta's shit possibly. Because now Granola says, now I have to thank you. You drew this power out of me. And now I'm going to use it to fuck you up. And it's just like, man. Some characters that I forgot to mention the last time we talked, because this is where the chapter ends, is there's a clan called the Heater Clan. They're the ones who set they were apparently business partners with Frieza. The planet trade type shit.
Mm-hmm.
They're the ones who set all this up because they want to control Frieza's army, but obviously they can't. They can't fuck with Frieza. They can't even fuck with the fans.
Right.
They look like a buck of fucking emo vampire gang.
you know what?
From
I
Twilight.
thought they looked like some fucking pirates. Like some straight up space
Bojack.
pirates, puffy
Bojack.
collars and yeah. That kind of gear on, yes, puffy collars and shit. Now some space pirates are canon now. That's what they needed,
Yeah.
Man.
right? And they're all named the Heater Clan. Their leader's name is Elect, like like an electric heater. One's name is Oil, one's name is Gas, and the other one's name is Maki, which I had to look up, which means something like firewood. It's like they have issues with granola. I can't, like, it's some chapters ago, so I can't really remember. But they are the
Heater Clan, and they're
right.
all named after shit to burn.
Yes.
There goes those
Really?
DBZ.
Toriyama and his name puns.
Yeah, Toriyama.
Right.
What the fuck?
And his name puns and shit never ends. They're the ones who set up. Like, they told Granola one thing about the Saiyans, and they
Right.
told the Saiyans something completely different about Granola. I forgot to mention that last time. They're the ones who set all that up, so basically they'd kill each other.
Right.
So it'd be more people out of the way for them to do their thing. And yeah,
Ichiban offered money to have Goku defeat him. Like, that's how the shit they played.
right.
Oh.
So Goku didn't have to get a job if he could win him and get the money.
Right.
Yeah, Goku don't want no job.
Like, Chi-Chi, your dad's a king. Are kings broke these days?
Right.
And yeah, at the end of the chapter, it shows the Heater Clan and the boss Elect is, talking like, I thought Granola would have lost this battle by now, but I'm not 100. I think they know that Granola made that wish.
Yes, because he told them, because they were like, how did you get that strong? And he's like, I don't have enough time. We need to make this quick. And he's like, well, I'm not telling you where Frieza is. How did you get that power? And he was like, the Dragon Balls.
Yeah, so now, yeah, the chapter.
The radar from Bulma.
You touched the Dragon Balls.
Dude, I think about that shit all the fucking time. Yeah, the chapter ends with Elect being like basically like, all right, cool, they can kill each other. Like he said, they stole the dragon radar, and now
they have to find on.
Yeah, remember I was telling you about that.
Yeah, you did mention that. Yeah, they only have to collect 2.
Right. So now the chapter ended with while Granola is fighting the Saiyans, now they're gonna look for the Dragon Balls. Now I don't know if the 2 Dragon Balls reset faster. Maybe because there are only 2, maybe they reset faster.
Yeah.
Because they do not turn to stone. It mentioned that.
Okay. Oh. Maybe I forgot that part. So they're there. They are there looking for the Dragon Balls while Granola and the Saiyans beat the shit out of each other. And yes, that's where the chapter Dragon Ball Super Manga Chapter 75 ended.
Now, I'm not sure if you guys talked about this. I'm curious. I wonder if the Dragon Ball's powers are linked to who the creator is. Because, like, with this having 2 Dragon Balls, they don't replenish. But the dragon had to barter with Granola to give him power. So I wonder if that's kind of linked to, like, who created them. Because you never see, like, the Super Dragon Balls or the Namek or the Earth. Oh, you multiple wishes, there's no restrictions. This he had to agree to basically to go stronger, absorb the remaining amount of his life in like 3 years. That's the only way that they could do it.
Have they revealed the makers of the Dragon Balls? Like, have they revealed the Namekians? I'm assuming we're talking about Namekians here.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, it's that Namek I told you about was on his planet.
Right.
Yeah, I can't remember because the Namekian was the one, because Granola and the Namekian were friends. Granola's not necessarily evil.
Yeah. They said at one point because it came from two different chapters, but they said at one point there were some Nameks that split off of Namek and shared with the Cerealians,
Mm.
and he's the last remaining Namek of that group.
Wow. Maybe he can fuse with Piccolo down the road
I don't know.
Maybe.
if they
Vegeta
want to
might
give
not
him a
like
power
that.
boost. No, because
Um,
I think it sounds like to me that Vegeta and this dude are going to end up being like best friends at some point. Like at some point they're going to, and again, I'm not reading this, but it just sounds like they're going to find out that this Heater clan is kind of playing him, and they're gonna have hell to pay. But
Yeah.
nonetheless, so Vegeta, this is not a W. Vegeta's taking an L here.
So far, but we'll see.
Of course,
I'm
Goku
glad
waiting
you.
in the wings, healing himself somehow.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned what you mentioned because, like I said, when Vegeta let him know, like, yo, Frieza fucked up our shit too. Like, you're not the only person who lived a fucked up life because of this motherfucker.
Yeah.
The dude Oatmeal reminded Granola, like, hey, that basically contradicts what you were told by the Heaters. Like I said, they told Granola one thing, and they told Vegeta and Goku an entirely different thing to get them to link up and basically kill each other. While they go on with their plans of, doing their thing and looking for the Dragon Balls.
Because they sneaky bitches.
Because the Heater clan themselves clearly can't fuck with the Saiyans or Granola.
Right.
So they have to do their own little side shit to stay alive.
Yeah.
Coherent, I guess.
At one point, during an argument when Granola first got there, after he left, he was like, "We don't want him to get any stronger because he was already at that threshold of where he was about to surpass that whole group.
Right.
So that group is pretty fucking weak.
Right.
Reminds me of like fancier peel-offs. That's
No doubt.
Peel off. All right. Well, any other interesting things going on, or is that pretty much it? So it looks like Vegeta's kind of down for the count. Goku's going to sweep in again. It's going to make some Vegeta fans angry.
Yeah, we'll see how this using your ki to heal your ki thing works.
Yeah.
Like this clearly doesn't make sense to me, but it is what it is. Toriyama's not a spring chicken anymore,
Right.
His head might be all over the damn place. Now, one thing I'm wondering if fusion is going to come into play. Only because Granola made the wish to become the strongest in that universe. Outside of, like I told you, gods and deities and stuff like that. He can't get to their power. Strongest mortal, basically, in their universe. So when he made that wish, there was obviously already a plateau of how high his power could go at that moment. That has nothing to do with fusion.
True, but I have kind of an opinion on that because that kind of plays out to what he said to Vegeta, you brought this power. I wonder if that wish basically anytime he goes against somebody that is stronger, he gains power to become the equal or above them. Because how else did he exceed Vegeta after he was getting his ass kicked?
That's a
So
good
he could
point.
perpetually be the strongest, basically.
For 3 years, and then he croaks.
Oh boy.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. That might be the case.
And another thing too about Goku, I'm gonna throw this out there. I don't think he's healing himself. I wonder if it has something to do with his blood flow, because Granola can remember how he can see how his blood and his circulation was going, and he kept knocking him out by stopping his blood flow. I wonder if because he
Byakugan.
was shot. Yeah, like I wonder if maybe he was like
Exactly.
fixing the circulation, because even when he did that, he was still like sitting down, struggling to get up
Right? Yeah.
because he was knocked out cold after that shot to the fucking heart.
Right. And that's what I was telling D the last time we talked about chapter 74. Granola dogged Goku twice.
Yeah.
Fucking twice.
Yeah.
Uh,
Not many do that, if any.
and I can't remember if I mentioned this before. Even the first time, this is how. Remember how you said last night? It's crazy how the relationship Goku and Vegeta have nowadays. Vegeta even did some "that's my boy" type shit when Granola fucked him up the first time, because it's not that it was an actual fight. Granola sniped him. he sniped
Yeah,
Goku
right.
down, and they didn't even know, what the fuck was going on. And then, Vegeta gave him one of the sensu beans that they had or whatnot, and then they found out where Granola was and who was shooting at them and blah, blah, blah. And where Vegeta wanted to go first, Vegeta looked at Goku and was basically like, nah, go out there and get your payback. That motherfucker shot you down.
That's cool.
That's basically exactly what happened, was like, go get your get back.
Right.
I know you ain't just going to let him fucking do that to you.
Right.
So go ahead and get your get back. I'm going to let you have this one. And he got fucked up
clone.
again.
By a clone. It wasn't even his real form.
Yeah. There's that part too. The granola that fucked up Goku was a clone.
Like, you know how
Oh,
they
boy.
could do their mirror image? This mirror image actually can attack.
Right.
So he's just sitting there in a fucking ship, just watching his clone form beat the shit out of him.
Right. Almost like the pain eyes. He sees it through the clone's eyes, so he's figuring out all the strategies and shit while he's over there chilling in the mountains just watching his clone do his thing.
Oh, he's got that power that Pain had, where they can
That's
see
what
out of
I'm-
each other's eyes.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Minus the railing his friends part.
All right, well, cool. Well, we'll definitely keep an eye on what's going on in the Dragon Ball Super Manga. It's heating up, getting interesting, and although Vegeta did get a new form, the Ultra Ego, still not enough. Still not enough. And I think you're right. That bet, not bet, but that wish where, like, he's always the strongest. Like, for 3 years, they might just need to deal with it until he croaks. Well, that's an interesting setup. All right. Well, listen, Halo Drama is going to drop off here, guys. Of course, no live show this week. My apologies. So it's going to be edited right out before we talk about the exciting Spider-Man No Way Home trailer. Let's actually do the Omega level news here. Of course, 1 year ago from yesterday, we received some really, really sad news. And that is, of course, it's been a full year since Chadwick Boseman passed away after a battle with cancer. And of course, there's been an outpouring of tribute online for this. I think it should be a holiday at this point, but who knows? That actually just may be a sore wound for others, and I understand it as well. But it is hard to believe that 1 year ago we lost a great person, Chadwick Boseman. We heard the stories of, the rigorous schedule that he endured even while being very, very sick. And, he certainly was a superhero in real life. So, again, 1 year ago today, we got this tragic news. And still really haven't answered the question of exactly how they're going to move forward with the character. We know that Black Panther 2 Wakanda Forever is going to kind of be less centered around him, but certainly we would think he would show up, at least the Black Panther character. And it was really bittersweet also for those of you watching the What If series, of course, episode 2 with T'Challa becoming Star-Lord, Chadwick Boseman, lending his talents, and it's really the last time he did so was in voice form for the animated What If series, so that was really bittersweet as well. So
Yeah, because if I could recall correctly, he actually passed away shortly after wrapping up his voice acting work.
Yep.
That was a good episode too. I mean,
yeah.
As far as like multiverse questions and the the persuasion of Thanos, I thought was interesting.
Yeah.
It was funny. It was funny at work. I had a pretty persuasive situation happen, and I was walking around telling people I'm T'Challa. I'm Star-Lord T'Challa. But I mean, it's sad, and but like you were saying, he was working as hard as he was, even though he had the condition that he had. And I mean, I don't know what that goes to, like what it says that someone's willing to to work to bring characters and visions to life, as is what his job was, up until he passed away, you know what I mean? But man, a year.
Yeah,
Time flies.
it certainly does. But yeah, I mean, obviously, I mean, to think he knowingly spent, the last moments he had on this earth to build all that up, certainly speaks to how important it was to him. On the less, well, possibly less legitimate side of things here in the news, Giant Freaking Robot does say that it is confirmed a scoop that Professor X is in Doctor Strange 2. Now, this is from GiantFreakingRobot.com, so not the greatest source out there. So we're just gonna, I'm not reporting it as, no, this is happening. I'm just saying, okay, this is out there. I did actually think that Professor X, I mean, it was kind of like a wild guess, but I did actually think that Professor X might show up in the WandaVision show. And so, again, Moviescope.com is reporting that they too have learned that the character of Charles Xavier will be in Doctor Strange 2 in the Multiverse of Madness.
I mean, it makes sense if you think about it, because there was the rumor that came out last week that said that she was going to fight somebody from the X-Men universe.
Yes.
Who all could take her on other than Phoenix? Nobody besides Charles. Because even
Get out of my head, Charles.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up, Charles.
Even if it's Magneto, gone. Like,
yeah. No,
Stop
Charles, got out of my head. Anyway, yeah, I mean, I think it makes sense. I guess I just don't know if I want that character introduced that way. But there's also the Eternals link that could happen.
It'd probably be the Fox version, though.
You're thinking that? I mean, we are dealing with the multiverse. Yeah.
Correct. I think it would tease the X-Men, but it's going to be that universe, and then we'll have to kind of see what plays out with Eternals. But we're going to know what happens with the Eternals first, because it comes out in a couple months versus next spring.
Yeah. Well, you know me. I'm just,
trying to patiently waiting.
The X-Men are my favorite. Something I love. So I just, and I've got high expectations because of, how high quality the MCU is and what they did with Endgame. And to me, Avengers Assemble was fucking epic. And there's really only one more thing they could do like that in the movies, to me, that would rival that. And that is Professor Xavier saying, "To me, my X-Men." So, But enough about what I like. I know something that you were a big fan back of the day, that is The Matrix. And we do learn a couple of things, at least I learned from IGN.com. Mm-hmm. Number one, it is going to be called The Matrix Resurrections.
Mm-hmm.
Any thoughts to what that implies at all, or?
So, it is a sequel, because there was toss-ups and before, like, we have young Morpheus. Is it a prequel? Is it a spin-off? Like, what's going to happen? But and I'm waiting for it, but at CinemaCon, where we got that lovely, lovely Spider-Man trailer that we're going to be talking about soon, WB actually showed the first trailer for Matrix, which, by the way, guys, both of these movies come out literally in 3.5 months. So it's really getting close, and we have no fucking footage until this happens. But
Jay's loving it.
Right. From what I got out of the trailer,
want to see it in the theaters.
During the beginning of the trailer, Neo is John Wick style, beard, long hair, and he's talking to a psychiatrist who's played by Neil Patrick Harris about these dreams.
Doogie Howser.
These dreams are what happened in the original trilogy. But they're doping him up with, he has to take 2 blue pills a day.
2 blue pills.
So he stops forgetting. And then they said what happens is somehow he comes across Trinity, and there's a spark. Like, whoa, we're not supposed to be here, guys. And Morpheus is introduced as a younger, which we don't know how that happened. I thought they were going to take the Matrix video game where Morpheus actually got murdered trying to resurrect Neo, but it looks like somehow we're taking maybe a new timeline where he actually remembers the previous Neo. So I'm not sure where they're taking this with the whole young Morpheus, but basically after that they do show him in the pods all clean shaven, the typical, and
Yeah.
then they go that Smith is still rumored not to be in the movie, so there's an all new like master agent, and they said that the martial arts in this look insane because of how like in fit that he was for John Wick and how he stays that way. He
Yeah.
looks like he's adapting to the training a lot better than originally. So we're going to get some smooth John Wick type like action, but martial arts form. Um, my theory with the resurrection is I think it is going to be a new timeline where the agreement between the humans and machines was broken one way or another, and but somehow Neo remembers the previous version of himself. So with Morpheus being younger, it's like Neo can find him instead. Because they did mention that they did a throwback to an iconic scene, which is where Morpheus takes on Neo in the dojo.
Okay, I remember that, of course.
Neo fucks him up and says, "You don't know who I really am,"
Ooh.
and like walks out. So I'm curious to see what they're doing with this.
Okay.
Yeah, that does sound dope. I fuck with the Matrix.
The other thing we learn in this article, of course, as we all know, the Wachowski sisters, you know, they were the ones that, of course, did the original Matrix trilogy. Only one of them is returning. Lily Wachowski is not going to return.
It's Lana, I believe, isn't it?
What?
That's doing the Lana was the one that
Yes.
stayed and actually did it.
Yes, yes. And Lily, of course, the one that is not. Basically just saying it's kind of a tumultuous time in her life when she was doing that, and she just don't have really any volition to go back to do what she already did. So Lana is doing this solo.
Yeah, and if you guys, if just for those listening that aren't familiar, kind of branch out and explain, because I've seen a in-depth interview. For those that are familiar, it originally was the Wachowski brothers, and there have been long rumors that the Matrix, not only the mythology, but it was also kind of based off of internal conflicts they were dealing in their male bodies. And during the interview, Lily basically said like that's when that she was dealing with the biggest internal struggles with herself. So going back to a franchise that she holds dear is still like ripping the band-aid off of wounds that aren't fully healed from then, and she's not interested in doing that.
Man, that's fair enough.
Yep. Yep. Indeed. Certainly understand.
I'm just glad at least they're like involved.
Sure.
Because there's for rumors WB could have easily just put some, and no, like keep it with the people that made it, and
They
keep
could have
going.
taken John Wick footage and just CGI'd, slap Matrix 4 on it.
Oh my god.
But cool. I mean, it sounds like if they write it correctly, then we could be back in it. Because at least for me, like, okay, the first Matrix comes out. Okay, this is cool. Second Matrix comes out. Okay, this is cool. I'm in it. And then the third Matrix just kind of took you out. And it really was a good story. It really was a good mythos they were building. It's just that third movie just kind of took me out of it. So if we could go back in there and make it right, you know, scrub it up, then all right, I'm certainly in too.
I think I've asked you this before, but have you seen Animatrix?
I have not seen Animatrix. No.
The reason why a lot of people don't get, I mean, when you, so the thing about the Matrix is telling like 3 different stories at the same time. It's telling a sci-fi story,
Mm-hmm.
It's telling a psychological story like as a metaphor. Then even within that metaphor, with the sci-fi stuff, it's telling another metaphoric story. So the Animatrix like videos to watch, or
I may
think
have
it was
watched it actually, to be honest with you. But I'm
damn
sorry.
it,
Go
what's
ahead.
it called? Like Renaissance of the Machines or some shit like that. I can't remember.
Are you talking about the
Um,
one that actually shows how this all happened, the
yeah.
storm and all? Yeah.
Right. So that it's hard to understand the third movie if you haven't watched that and kind of contextualize what the sci-fi part of the Matrix is. And so, like,
Mhm.
there's a war. The reason why the machines and the humans are fighting each other is because the AI became sentient, and the humans were relying on AI, and the AI wanted their own sovereignty, and then that came with war, obviously. And then the reason why uh, the the sky is so dark. I mean, they hint at it. I believe it's in the first movie. Maybe it was the second, but
Hinted at
they
it a
hint at it.
little bit.
Yeah, a little bit that the humans did this, but what they did was they figured that if they took out the
Block the
sun, since
sun.
the
Yeah.
humans were I mean the machines were solar powered, that they would cease to exist. But then the machines decided to use the humans as batteries
Right.
in order to
It really
maintain
is worth
their power.
watching, T, if you haven't.
Yeah.
Like,
So
it's awesome.
the third movie is hard to connect with if you don't understand what it is they're actually fighting. You know what I mean? Like, and why. And that is the third movie it brings that whole little animatrix, little clip, movie clips or short stories or whatever, brings that together to the whole movie, and it makes me actually, I kind of like the third one more than the second one. The second one I didn't really like too much. I mean, it was cool with the Dragon Ball Z, kind of fighting style,
Exactly.
whatever.
See, you get it. That's why.
But outside of that, the second movie was kind of stupid. Story wise, when you contextualize,
Sure. No, I wasn't super into the story. You're right. It was
First
it was
one
just
is
people in
just action at that
monochromatic
point.
clothing fighting. It was
Right.
cool.
It was
Flying
necessary.
around.
It was a necessary movie.
Mhm.
But I didn't really like that one. So the third one, even though it's kind of not as matrixy as the others, makes a lot more sense as far as the story goes when you put that little bit of lore into it.
honestly, now that I'm thinking of it, because the first does a real good job kind of creating the ground level, introducing you into the mythos. And then now thinking about it, Jay, you're correct, because you watch the Animatrix, you see the war, basically the cycle, humans build machines, rely on machines, machines want to be free, humans do what humans do. That ain't going down. Then we do something that basically backfires to they cause where they rely on us. And then you go to the third movie where while we're trying to figure out who's going to win this war, you have Smith now overpowering everybody, and they have to like basically together when Neo jacks in and goes, "You're the only buddy that can save everything." Like, so yeah, now thinking about that, I didn't even put two and two together. Like, that's
Let's
It's
see.
crazy.
Matrix
not-
is
I
still
was blown
deep.
the fuck yeah. Like,
it's really deep.
Love it. All right. Well, we're going to get a fourth one. I'm excited now. I'm excited. All right. Well, according to GameRant.com, you may know of this person. Hassan Piker is getting death threats over his house. So, to put a little bit of context, and Jay probably can put more context in this than I can, but Hassan is like the cousin or somebody of Cenk Uygur, who does the Young Turks, which is a YouTube news channel. And he did something I'm not quite sure that got him banned off that. So now he does his own thing on Twitch and has quite the following. In fact, he has enough of a following to be able to afford buying a $2.7 million home. However, his fan base is actually angered by this and is now giving death threats. So I don't think anybody deserves to get death threats. But I will say this is a kind of an interesting story. And so, Jay, I'm going to throw it over to you. Why is Hassan getting death threats for buying a really expensive home?
I mean, as far as the death threats part, that was news to me when you put it in the notes.
Mm-hmm.
It just online people, being emotional, trying to garner attention for a situation that's getting attention. I guess it seems like to me. Overall, at the end of the day, I'm permanently suspended on. I mean, I could make another one, but I just rather not right now. But permanently suspended on Twitter right now. So as far as like getting into what that side of Twitter was engaging in, I'm not sure. I haven't really been on in a little over a week now. So but the thing about it is this, and I've had my critiques. I've had my critiques of people who espouse
Red
socialism.
tube.
But well, I mean, it's not even red tube in general. The issue that I have is this is the issue that I've personally have had with the whole political sphere on the internet. So it sucks because, especially for me, because anytime I do anything or make a point, I get suspended for some mundane thing, just because I have to defend myself. So I'm defending myself. I defend myself very well, and then all of a sudden now I'm the one who's suspended for violating rules or whatever. But when it comes to like American politics, I was explaining this to somebody recently that like in order to be I guess like mainstream in the mainstream political sphere or whatever, there's so much that you have to ignore. There's so much that you have to like be willfully ignorant on. There's so much that you have to accept that you probably wouldn't if it was broken down to you, in order to view things in that mainstream sort of way, right? And then so when you go over to the, I don't want to say the fringes, but when you go over to the further, when you go further on the sides, on the right, you can literally say whatever you want, whether it's factually correct or not, as long as you say, American Patriots or Eagles or something at the end of it, you'll get paid $1 million. And then on the other side, there's a lot of infighting because it seems as though people are drifting or acting or using the politics and the buzzwords of the things that leftism is about, or for aesthetic purposes, right? And so when it comes to socialism and leftism and all that stuff, one thing that I tried to get my community to understand is that first and foremost, the idea that you have to be poor to be any of these ideologies goes against what the ideology is in and of the first place. Socialism is when the workers own the means of production. So that means that billions and trillions of dollars of production are to be had, because that's what people produce. It's just that instead of it going to one person and then it distributed however that one person wanted to be distributed, everybody has a say in it, kind of like a actual democracy, but a democracy at work, where the workers are strongly involved in the process as the managers and the executives, all the other stuff to make a business go. Just because a business may have socialistic tendencies, aka the NFL, aka the NBA, doesn't mean that it's broke. It just means that it shares its resources with more than just the people at the top. And then in order even be a communist, in order to have a stateless, moneyless society, your society has to be so productive and so in working order that it doesn't need money or a hierarchy to thrive and exist. So the idea that you need to be poor, or that these ideologies bring poverty or whatever, is just propaganda, from people who believe in the other form of economics, which is pretty much top down feudalism, if you will, but the choice that we have as consumers is to choose our kingdom. We can choose Walmart, we can choose Target, we can choose Amazon, we can choose whatever, Netflix or whatever. Overall, at the end of the day, the CEOs or whatever of Netflix has the power to decide how things are going to go, instead of the workers and employees and the developers and the coders and the customer service workers that help manage all this money that's being put together. So I'm saying all that to say that Hassan, having put himself in a situation where he's able to amass an amount of money to be able to get himself a home that like that, is not him going against the principles of socialism, because I don't know how many employees he has, if he even does have any employees. But overall, outside of the little saga that he had where he was like paying his editor in like props or like clout or something, I don't know, I forgot that. I didn't really pay attention too much into that, but outside of that, like, as long as you treat your workers fairly and they have say into the the production and the distribution of the income or revenue that's coming in, he's not doing anything. You're allowed to make money. The issue that I have with Hassan, and the issue that I have with Vash, and the issue that I have with the Chapo Trap House and the Surfs and whomever else, the ContraPoints and the whoever, is that, like, again, my whole goal of being on Twitch and doing the things that I was doing, whether it was playing the games, whether it was doing the news, whether it was breaking things down, whether it was doing the book club, whether it was the building a gunpla,
yeah, Stream Raiders.
Right. I was doing all of that in order to be able to amass a following like them, and able to get donations and all that stuff, to have that amount of money to then create organizations and programs that actually build my community up, so they are able to live with the resources, sharing the resources that I believe in, because outside of socialism being businesses, socialism is something that is community oriented as well. Not only do you have democracy at work, but you have true democracy in your community, and you find out what it is that your community needs, has, that it doesn't have, and figure out ways as a community to make sure those things are taken care of, so you can have a community that you would like to live in. And I live in the hood of Cleveland, or one of the hoods of Cleveland, and I love my community. I just wish that we had the resources to help the people that need to be helped, or get people into situations where they can better themselves in their lives. And that's what I would have done with millions of dollars. Now, I've also said in a video that I have on my YouTube channel, if I were to make $160,000 a month like Chapo Trap House, what would I do with it? I would buy a house too. I'm trying to buy a house now. I've moved into a new position at work, and I think I found my sweet spot niche thing, that if I continue to do what I'm doing currently, and at the trajectory that I seemingly am able to do that every month from here on out, I am going to be a very well-to-do person very shortly. And so if you don't think that I'm going to buy a house, or buy myself a car that I want, or have the technology and clothes and shoes, and go on trips and go to games and travel and all this other stuff that costs currency, well, you're fucking mistaken. Of course I'm going to do those things. At the end of the day, I am like I said, I'm a very community-minded person. And what I have not seen out of a Hassan, and what I have not seen out of a Devosh and a Chapo and all these other people, is that community-oriented stuff. And you can talk about having you can talk about the different types of political ideologies, and you can talk about Marxism, and you can talk about Karl Marx and what that theory and all that stuff is. But if you're not actually practicing it, what is it that you're doing? And overall, at the end of the day, if there is a betrayal of trust Hassan has to leftism. First and foremost, he's and I mean, I'm not going to get into all the breakdowns of it, but like, he's a democratic socialist, and a democratic socialist is still a capitalist. They just want capitalism to be a lot nicer than it is, and have regulations, on it that make it nicer for some people. But like I've always explained in my streams, if you understand what the foundation and where the wealth that you need in order to create a capitalistic system, or have one country be the main face of that capitalistic system, you know what the foundation of that is, which is colonialism and slavery and genocide and land and wealth expropriation from literal countries and the soil and the ground. Like, this is what I'm saying. You wouldn't really want to be a part of these things if you broke it down individually, right? And so overall, at the end of the day, Hassan Piker is a little bit more to the left than the mainstream, but he's nowhere near where leftism actually is when you break down the theory and you have the conversations and the history and all the people that are connected and the different forms of thought from the African and the European and the the native, and there's just a whole lot of things that go into it. So the fact that he's getting death threats just show that I think just people are just stuck in their house and this online stuff. They just need something to attack, and it's easy. It's easy to attack someone who uses abrasive language to make points after having to defend your honor from 12 different sides and all in one time, which is what led up to me getting banned. I'm defending myself from 12 different people coming at me sideways, and so I lash out at one of them because they're being ridiculous, and it makes me lose my whole account.
Misconstrued against the TOS, and they got you.
Right, exactly. Yeah. But death threats to Hassan Piker, that's cool. I don't know anybody of those people who are getting permanently suspended. But like I said, keeping an account like mine up allows you to hear points and points of view that you may not have heard of, or you may not have thought of before. For people who think that they believe in capitalism, and then when you break it down to them and ask them questions like, if given the opportunity to be able to go to the hospital and not pay for it because it comes out of everybody's taxes, people would agree with that. And then when you talk about universal health care, they're like, no, that's socialism. But like, when I broke it down to you another way, you agreed that was a more efficient way of handling health, and that would provide better outcomes for you and everyone else, right? Yeah. You see what I'm saying? So I mean, when people who use ideologies that would change people's billions of people's livelihoods and ways of life, from the ways we currently have them now, which people think are the only way that you can do them, when you have people that are able to use that aesthetic and use that ideology to gain their own personal wealth, I guess you're gonna receive those type of things, even though I don't think it's necessary. Hassan Piker is not the one you should be sending death threats to. There's whole
death
governments.
Threats. That's extreme. Yeah, that's
whole governments and warlords and genocidal,
some streamer,
genocidal military dictators. You know what I mean? That probably deserve more death threats than Hassan Piker. Yeah. But I don't know. It's just people.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, if he has that sort of ideology. So, yeah, like you're saying, people are just kind of sitting at home and waiting to attack something on the internet, and here you go. So, but which is their right, but death threats a little much. So we can do better.
I want to see some permanent suspensions, Twitter.
Right. Right.
Good luck with that.
But they will tell you why. They will give you a little bit more information on why they banned you. They will tell you the name of the stream and what time.
At first I didn't know why. They sent me an email, and I wasn't expecting to get the email. So at first I didn't know why.
Well, they still won't tell you why. They'll just tell you, okay, well, here's what stream it was on. At least that's all they'll tell you.
Oh, you're saying Twitch? No, yeah. I'm not saying. I'm saying Twitter. I don't know what's going on Twitch. I mean, and if it is happening on Twitch, yeah, there better be some suspensions and bans from that as well. But I'm saying that, you know, when I saw what I said that got me permanently suspended on Twitter, I was like, that's it. That's it. Like, you know, don't get me wrong. I enjoy watching this, but you know, women can put, you know,
Their coochie.
squid, octopus tentacles up their butts, and
Yeah.
you know what I mean. And
I know, like I created an account. It was like it was like Fortnite replays or something, and that's all I did, and it's banned. It's fucking banned. Like, or you know, permanently suspended. So yeah, Twitter's goofy there.
yeah, it's goofy.
But hey, make sure and follow us on Twitter at Omega Level Nerds.
And we don't put octopuses in our asses.
Not at
No,
all.
we don't. No.
Not at all.
I mean, hey, listen, if that's your thing, all power to you.
Just
I'm
not
with
here.
it, I guess. But
Right.
yeah.
Just not here. Okay, so recently, Nintendo streamed the second trailer for Metroid Dread. I don't know how excited you guys are about this. I am. This is www.animenewsnetwork.com. So, you know, I like what I'm seeing. The Omega Level wife just happened to be sitting here watching it with me. She thought it looked cool. So I'm very excited about Metroid Dread, especially
long
after
rumored,
the second
isn't it?
trailer. What's
Like,
that?
this game's been in development for like 20 years or some shit. Like, it's been long rumored, and then they finally announced it.
Yeah, they restarted it back in 2019, but yeah, it's been 19 years since Fusion came out for the Game Boy Advance in 2002. But yeah, like you said, this was they just redid it, and I'm glad they did. I like now. I don't think this means they're not going to do any 3D Metroids. I still think they're going to do like a Metroid Prime sequel or a re-release of that series. But this Metroid Dread, you know, does go
Metro
back
Prime is prequels.
prequels. Oh, right. So they're going to still do that sort of stuff, but I do like seeing the 2D.
So it's supposed to be the final, like, Samus adventure, and then everything basically leads up to this.
Yeah. Okay. I'll check it out for sure. And then our last Omega Level news story here comes from ScreenRant.com. It is simply that Elijah Wood, so played Frodo, wants to be in a Star Wars or Marvel movie. My first thought is, okay, who doesn't? Who doesn't want to be in, you know, movies that, you know, gross almost billions of dollars, if not billions? I don't know. I was having a hard time thinking of who I'd want him to play, though. Any ideas of who you think he might be good in a Marvel or Star Wars role?
Throw his ass in droid gear and be done with it.
I mean, there's always room for new characters, especially because I was talking to a friend recently about how even though the trilogy sequel was not that great as far as like the movies individually or whatever, but as far as what they could do for world building, it's so wide open. I mean, if you actually do what you were supposed to do for Finn and Rey, what Kylo, well, I mean with Knights of Ren, you know, where the dark side go, I mean, like can go, or what a world with balanced Jedi running around, you know what I mean, or balanced Force users running around looks like. You know, there's so many things that they could do. So I mean, there's stuff to be open on the Star Wars side, and then you know for Marvel, it's multiverse shit.
Yeah.
So I mean, you literally can do whatever. And Elijah Wood's a pretty good actor, so I'm pretty sure wherever if they would be able to fit him somewhere, it'd be pretty cool. But I wish I could just be like, I want to be in the next Ironheart show, and then someone be like, hey, how you doing?
So hey, yeah. Speaking of Star Wars and world building, did you see the trailer for the Star Wars Visions? Like the anime Star Wars that they're coming out with? Yeah.
No, I really want to see that. So I
check that out.
have not paid attention to any of that shit whatsoever.
Yeah, the trailer doesn't give anything away. It's really just a bunch of quick visuals, but it looks cool as hell. So it looks like we're going to get a lot of world building there, because a lot of those are not supposed to center around the main story. So it's supposed to be just kind of obscure places and locations in Star Wars stories. So check that out. All right, cool in the game. Well, that is all the Omega level news that we have this evening. We'll go ahead. We'll let John drop off because he does not want to be a part
No,
of the Spider-Man No Way
can't
Home
do it.
trailer. And we're going to
Can't
get
do it.
deep.
I want to see it in theaters. You guys have fun.
All
See you
right.
next week.
See you next week, man.
Peace out, man.
All right, so it is just me and you, the brothers nerdy here. So let me get the right thing here. There we go. So yes, just a mere 24 hours after our last stream ended, they released the actual Spider-Man No Way Home footage. Of course, we had got the leaked trailer, and so shortly thereafter we got the actual trailer, which was cool because there was one thing I noticed that I did not see at all in the leaked trailer. So Volsker, let me hear from you there. What is what did you think? What did you find interesting about the trailer? Did you notice anything different between the leaked version and the official version?
So, truth be told, I couldn't watch the leaked one. I started like 20 seconds and I was like, I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't do this. So I just shut it off. And I was sitting there like, oh my God, this better release. This better release. I can't do this. So thankfully, rumors were that the CinemaCon presentation were at 9:30 that next night. We should get it. Shortly after 9:30, it released. Um,
Yeah, that was
I'm
actually
super
right
excited.
after I got done recording with Superhero Speak, because we talked about the leak trailer, and then the show would end, and right as it ended, we were just kind of bullshitting for a little bit before we went, and then like Dave's like, they just released it. So it was about 9:30, like you said.
Super excited. I think they did a good job at teasing and not giving too much of the story up. They gave just enough to go, hey, Doctor Strange is in it. Hey, something goes wrong. Here's some iconic things that could be a villain, could not be a villain, could be the villain you know. So let's break that down a little bit. So we know it's taking portion of the One More Day story, but instead of Mephisto, we'll get to that in a minute. It's Doctor Strange who does, without hesitation, a really dark curse that erases the memories of Spider-Man and Peter's lives together from everybody. They just know Peter. They don't know who the hell Spider-Man was again. Peter doesn't shut his mouth and basically causes shit to go awry because he keeps, I guess, him talking and throwing names start warping the spell. And
He tells him to stop talking.
He's like, stop it. Then it explodes, and then we see like this warp of just, it looks almost like, if you look at it just like color, but it looks almost like warped visions of different things just twisted real quick and then popping out. So then we know, okay, shit happened. Then shortly after that, we see what was it? We see a lightning bolt come crashing down on a police car. Yellow lightning, which is comic book accurate instead of the blue lightning that we had for Electro. But they didn't show Electro, they showed just the lightning.
Just the lightning, yeah.
We see the goblin bomb roll on the bridge, and we hear laughing, which is William Dafoe's laughter, but it doesn't show him for sure. Then we see Doc Ock's arm come up, and this for sure is the Doc Ock that we know, because he's literally to a T. Besides older, is Raimi's Doc Ock. And hey, Peter, that kind of threw me for a loop. I
Yeah.
feel that we only seen bits and pieces of that image. I think Toby is on that bridge. I don't think it's Holland's one that he's talking to. Like, we see how they cut it, mastery of cuts. It shows Holland Spider-Man flip on the car.
Yeah.
I don't think those are the same.
Just to edit there, because
Um,
yeah, we don't see any other Spider-Man besides Tom
so
Holland.
still rumors, guys. Still rumors.
Mhm.
I will say, when I skimmed through that leaked synopsis a couple weeks ago, this is hitting almost to a T
Spoiler alert.
what that synopsis was.
Right.
So really definitely, like, I'm very intrigued to see how this goes. One thing I missed until I was watching like some TikTok videos, when there's a scene where Peter, like, Holland's Peter, there's a glow and he backs away. People slow mode it, and it's actually the lizard behind a magical barrier swiping at Peter.
Huh.
Did you notice that one?
I did not. No.
Yeah. It's a really dark green, like, beast, which we already know the only one would be the lizard.
Mhm.
And what happens is when he swipes, he hits a force field. So from rumors, what I gathered is, and this goes into what other rumors were, that box that we see Peter grab onto, and then we see Doctor Strange kind of do the, like, spirit release kind of thing, that he's actually capturing these villains to send them back to their universe, which would make sense of why there was a barrier in front of the lizard.
Mhm.
Um, what else? Another tidbit: when he's being walked into his interrogation, there was a little call sign to Daredevil where they had Peter's face scratched and it's the devil, and they had, like, that is a lot of reference to Daredevil, Matt Murdock, which, if he's being interrogated, he has to have an attorney.
Right.
Still rumors that we're going to get Matt Murdock, and from what we gathered is it's going to be the Charlie Cox from the Netflix series. Another thing, I don't know if you noticed, the guys that's interrogating him is actually damage control.
No, I did
It
not.
wasn't police. If you zoom and look at his jacket,
Mhm.
it's damage control, which we know from Spider-Man Homecoming.
Right. Right.
So that's kind of interesting.
Where the vulture
I'm
was from.
excited. Super. I can't wait for this damn movie. I don't think I'm gonna be let down. I want to see where we go, and we know this is going to tie right in to Multiverse of Madness,
Mhm.
and I
Of course.
bet you this is step one. What happens? We think this is maybe an isolated incident, and then kind of go play into, well, no, there's now the multiverse with Loki and everything. Like, there's other shit going on. So it's kind of like Loki created the multiverse again, and then now this looks to basically open the travel between them.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Definitely. I like that. With the box and everything, and I did not notice the lizard, but what I did notice, and maybe I'm wrong here, but I did slow it down and look at it. But I noticed a Spider-Man in a black suit. I noticed
you
a
talking about
black.
running through the
He's like running
cafeteria?
through a building, right? I was told
Yes,
that was his new Doctor Strange suit or whatever,
yes.
but he didn't have the mask on, and I swear when I had it pause, it reminded me of Tobey Maguire. So, but again, you are like others have told me, it's the Doctor Strange magic suit and not.
Yeah, if you look, there's a pop that kind of released that a couple weeks ago. He has,
Yes.
like, the magic. But that's funny that you actually mentioned that. He's actually running through it was a feast. which is the what is it? The shelter that Miles Morales is linked to. So,
Interesting.
because eventually Aunt May takes over the shelter and kind of hires Miles, and Miles works for them, and so that's kind of a callback.
All right. So yeah, it's exciting because everything that we kind of learned in that script is looking to become true. We saw Dr. Octopus, just like you were talking about. We actually saw that. But I think you're right. I think that there are scenes that are going to have the Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. And that's, they don't want to give up that just yet because there's already so much of this movie that's known. So I do appreciate them withholding that back. We don't see Willem Dafoe as the Goblin or Harry Osborn. I'm not sorry, not Harry Osborn, but Norman Osborn.
Well, you don't see Harry too, and I don't think
Yeah,
we
well,
will
yeah.
because of James Franco's
Nobody
recent shit.
But I do want to start a movement. Hashtag no mask for Willem. I swear to you, if I go to see this movie, and I will in the theater most likely, and he shows okay, if it's a flashback, okay. But I don't know. If I see Willem Dafoe with a goddamn mask on, I'm walking out of the theater, and I will have to rely on you to tell me what the rest of the fucking movie was, because I will not be able to take that.
I
It's
think
such
they're
a big
going
mistake, and they can correct it.
I mean, they can. Like, how would you like them? Would you like them to just do like green paint?
Yeah,
'Cause
green
it's a
paint, CGI,
he
some
wore a
crazy
rubber mask
eyes. He
and
did,
contacts and
but just have it so that when, because of the serum, when the Green Goblin, takes over, and they can even explain that this was something that, he evolved into, but, yeah, when the Green Goblin just takes over, his skin turns green, he gets the yellow bulgy eyes, and there
Okay,
you
so you want
go.
him like you want him as the what is it? Fucking what's the universe that exploded that the maker
Ultimate,
fucked up? Yeah, the Ultimate Universe. The Green Goblin is like a mutated goblin.
right, yeah. It just makes more sense movie-wise. I just think Willem Dafoe looks enough like the Goblin.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
Why ruin it? Why ruin
I
it?
agree. I could see them doing that though, just as a callback, since with all the rumors and like look at Alfred Molina, like he literally looks like he walked out of Spider-Man 2.
Right. Yeah.
So, but it looks like they're changing Jamie Foxx, so I mean, it very well could be. Rumors that I was seeing, kind of people were talking about, because kind of call back to when he was doing the spell. For those who missed it, it looked like he was doing a spell off of like Peter's hair, and
Yeah.
basically who's ever linked to Peter, which would make sense why during this movie only villains that are linked with Peter come into play, but it doesn't necessarily have to be a Peter we're aware of. So how does Jamie Foxx have yellow lightning in this one? Maybe he's a different multiverse, but he's still a Spider-Man villain. So he's
Right.
not the one we know, but a better one. We just might happen to get the other two, or maybe we get Alfred Molina's straight from Raimi's, and then the other two are adapted to be more modern, or there's not much else
More
you really
comic
do. And I
accurate.
definitely
Yeah.
don't want I don't want them in spandex looking all weird and shit like the 90s cartoon. So keep
Right.
Alfred Molina.
All right. Well, it's exciting. I do think that it is Mephisto. Legit. I do.
Oh yeah, I did say we'll get back to that. So yeah, um, so you think it's Mephisto?
Yeah, it's got because. Yeah, because like you said, I mean that's how it was in the comics, which I know they're not gonna, hell, the Infinity Stones or the Infinity Gems in the comic, okay? So I get it. But I just think, when else are you going to introduce Mephisto? What else is Mephisto so famous for? But I will be honest with you. As much as I feel it is going to be Mephisto, I really truthfully am only feeling like 50-50 about it because I know that China is a big market for these movies and that anything that has the devil, they're not going to it's not going to fly in China. However, what did you say? Right? We're getting an homage to Daredevil. So if they're already going to screw that pooch with Daredevil, then why not throw him in then? So
True, I guess, because I mean, even yeah, like okay, they can say Daredevil, Matt Murdock, he's not in his devil suit or he's a superhero, but then yeah, even like looking at the billboard, the modified, like they
mm-hmm.
made Peter look like a freaking devil with horns and um that's weird though, like because I mean theoretically then it's saying that we would never get anything Mephisto wise if that's the case
Right.
because China's a huge fucking market. Or maybe Feige's like, well, we've built such a following, these movies do fucking amazing. Let's take the risk. And they might do what they did with I can't remember which Marvel movie it was, where they cast like a Japanese actor for just a short role so they can market it with him.
Mm,
What movie was it? Iron Man 2? I can't
I
remember
don't
which one
remember.
was
Yeah.
changed, but there was a character that was cast short-lived, short scene, but just to like barter with them.
Hmm. Not sure. But yeah, I think if they're going to do it, this would be when you do it because
Or it's senior
Doctor
scratchy.
Strange would never do this. Doctor Strange would never just be like, "Oh, sure, no problem."
Hmm.
It's yeah, and the whole snow thing, is kind of throwing me off too. All the snow in the sanctum.
Never fixed his
No,
wolf.
I get that, but then he like brings that flame up, which I don't know. There's just Marvel fucking with us again. That's probably all it is.
Yeah,
But we're here. We're
because
along for
yeah,
the ride.
he really really did not. He was like, "Oh, I won't do it." I can't remember his buddy's name. Don't cast that
Oh,
spell. No,
Wong,
no, no.
Wong,
I
yeah,
got it. Yeah, wrong. And then he goes, winks, and immediately after he's gone, like.
yeah.
But then again, this is also, Doctor Strange was also fucking with the Time Stone when he wasn't supposed to be too. Like,
That's true. That's true. We'll have to see how it goes.
I do like that. He's like, no, no, we've saved half of the universe together. You don't have to call me sir, Steven. That's weird, but I'll.
Yeah. And I knew that was going to happen too. I was like, what else is he going to call him? All right, well, there we have it. So, are you looking forward to the Spider Man No Way Home movie? How do you like the trailer? Did you learn anything? Let us know down in the comments below. That is it for us tonight. So, please, if you've enjoyed the show, sorry that there's no live stream this week. We'll figure that out. But please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content. Also, feel free to go over and watch us react to Dragon Ball Z Abridged episode 1 through 7. Had a great time.
Don't forget, guys, get your asses to the seats at theaters this weekend. We get Shang-Chi.
That's right. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten
First
Bracelets. I mean, Ten
true
Rings.
MCU theater return
Right. Yep.
since the
True
pandemic.
reboot. So check it out. And also make sure you check out Volsker on Twitter at Volsker, of course. And you can get the link to his YouTube channel. Make sure you check out J100's YouTube channel. That's YouTube/J100. Halo Drama at Halo Drama on Twitter. At DSquare72 for myself. You can find my personal YouTube link on there as well. But more importantly, make sure you are following us at Omega Level Nerds on Twitter, where you can also get the link to our YouTube. If you are not somebody that is already subscribed, please check out the video. We do normally live stream every Sunday around 8 o'clock. Hope to see you then. All right, well, until next time, everyone, peace and love, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Peace out.